Well, despite the intentional step down this time around from our usual hard topics, talking about discussions on politics, on economics, on Tinubunomics, security issues, and the matters of education and other key governance, you can bet that the issues on Boiling Point Arena are always hot. The conversation are deep and the flow hard hitting while the search for solution stops. As you're already aware, Boiling Point is Nigeria's foremost hybrid discourse platform where issues are dissected with candor, with clarity, and courage. It's the 43rd edition, and yet another compelling episode on a month-by-month basis since the first debut in November 2022. That's exactly 3.5 years now. And it's always a privilege to welcome you to this marketplace of ideas where we bring together policymakers, influencers, political actors, technocrats, and thought leaders. We must let you know that Boiling Point, we must let you know that Boiling Point Arena is conceptualized as a public trust and a public sphere. This hybrid format arguably is the first in Nigeria, and it merges digital conferencing with traditional outreach, in which our station also live broadcast and bring this to our listeners. One of these days, we will do an audit to know how many millions Nigerians listen to Boiling Point Arena. Well, let me not fail to mention that we have seated on this platform the royal presence of the keynote speaker and the chair to herald the discourse, talking about Kabiyesi, Oba Saka Matemilola, the Olowu of Owu, who will add an intellectual gravitas to the discourse. At the right time, I'll bring him up. Well, it's now time to bring up my colleague, Anthony Damelda, to make a presentation of our guests. By the way, two of them, the third, we are not able to know what is happening now, so we'll go with the two guests. Anthony.
Right, absolutely. So, just like we've mentioned, it promises to be an exciting time on the Boiling Point Arena this night. And doing this with us, let us try to get you familiar, get acquainted with our guest for this night. I'll begin with Apostle Lawrence Akudume.
Achudume,
yeah? So he's a preacher, he's a motivator, he's a counselor. He's also an empowerment specialist. He's the general overseer and senior pastor of Victory Life Bible Church International, whose missionary headquarters, Victory City, sits on a prime land spanning several acres opposite Kutikubi there in Abeokuta. He leads the fastest growing church, which was about one of the first pioneering Pentecostal churches in the ancient city, and now has branches in other parts of Nigeria, the United Kingdom, and United States of America. So Apostle Achudume is widely recognized as an exciting and respected minister of God with a unique and anointed message that transforms lives and destinies. So Lagos, Nigeria, and wherever it is you might be listening to us this night, I want you to welcome on the Boiling Point Arena Apostle Lawrence Achudume. Apostle, if you're here with us, let's hear your voice.
Thank you very much for having me, and good evening, everyone. And to our real father, my greetings.
You're welcome. It's a delight to have you join us tonight, Apostle. Let's also introduce and get you acquainted with our second guest. This is Mrs. Funke Egbemode. She is the immediate past Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation, Osun State. She's a widely traveled Nigerian journalist, author, and advocate of media excellence with over 30 years of experience. She started her career from the lowest, rung of the media ladder as a freelance writer, rose through the ranks to become a managing director, editor-in-chief of a national newspaper, a respected and trusted professional she is till this moment. The only president of Nigerian Guild of Editors who has been elected into office unopposed for 2 terms. This fellow of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, during her tenure, promoted the NGE within and beyond the shores of Nigeria, leading the Guild in a first of its kind partnership with the Republic of China and other professional bodies. Under her watch, the NGE moved into its first ever corporate space in 50 years. She's a columnist par excellence. So join me, Lagos, Nigeria, in welcoming the one many Nigerians fondly call Professor of Marital Affairs, talking about Funke Egbemode. Good to have you join us this night, Mrs. Funke. Yeah, from her as well. Mrs. Funke, let's hear your voice. Okay, perhaps while she tries to get that sorted at this moment, if Nigeria is just on you on the guest we have for you tonight. This is to be a very exciting conversation. Personally, I'm looking forward to learning from these great minds, and I'll hand over yet again to my senior colleague and the person of
Yes, a ní láti get of pẹ̀lú wọn. Ní kò ní sẹ́ni problem ní àdúgbò yìí. Torí ó dà pé there was a time tó jẹ́ pé ó dà pé iná kan ṣe kan ló wọ bíbá. Èyí mo lọ sí NEPA tí mo lọ report ẹ̀ pé orí iná kan ṣe láì wọ́n. Yeah, more aware about that. If not for just one good transformer, we need to.
So we do not get hold back from your end. Okay, thank you so much. Appreciate that.
I hear you. I started my video. I've unmuted myself.
Patience, patience. Modern Bible
Hello? Hello?
Yes. From spiritual, social, cultural, from spiritual, social, cultural, and experiential perspective. The topic remains marriage in modern times, love, money, loyalty, and the crisis of commitment. And that was the prologue. It is now time to bring up Kabiyesi, the Olowo of Owu Kingdom, Oba Professor Saka Matemilola, to herald the discourse by adding his usual intellectual gravitas. Kabiyesi.
Thank you very much, Pastor Arojolu. Can you confirm that you can hear me properly? Because I think we had some audio issues earlier on.
Okay.
Am I audible?
Very loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. So let me start by appreciating our guest speakers, our discussants for today. Apostle Lawrence Achudeme, thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate you. We don't take your presence for granted at all. Mrs. Funke Egbemode, thank you also for joining us. When you have people of this caliber in this kind of discussion session, that you know you're set for a very detailed and very engaging, in-depth analysis of the topic we have, especially when we're talking about an area where they are expert in. These are both counselors from the spiritual sense, from the religious sense, and from the social, angle as well. I have somebody describe Ms. Egbemode as professor of marital affairs, which I fully agree with that. Thank you, Pastor Arojolu, for all the good work you're doing on this as well. So let me just provide some little perspectives to kick off the session for today. That's after I've also welcomed everybody else who has joined us today. Thanks for being true to this program. Marriage is something that these days a lot of people have a perspective that doesn't really connect with what it should be naturally, the natural order of things. And again, we've kind of diverted very far away from our Africanness, if I can use that word, about the institution called marriage. And that, in my view, is one of the reasons why we have so much challenges. Not only in our home, but in society at large, because you find out that a lot of the issues we have in the society is an outcome of the issues in the various families. Of course, the family is a smaller unit of a community anyway, and that's where it starts from. In the past, an African way is that a marriage is between two families, while a man and a woman are the center of the whole thing, but it's about two families. The courtship itself is facilitated and guided by, members of the families who try and investigate who this person is, who is this man, who is this woman, who are the parents, who are the relatives, Are they people we can discuss with? What kind of character do they have, the person in question, and all of that? But we have departed a lot from this. And this shift has been eroding our cultural heritage and the institution of marriage itself. Modern marriage seems to prioritize the physical appearance and personal gain over intrinsic collective values and virtues, which ordinarily should strengthen family ties. And that's one of the key things. It's about, is this man sufficiently resourced to fund my lifestyle? Is this woman pretty enough for me? How would my friends and my social circle see her if she's with me? Will they accept her? Is this man in a good position? And things around that. It's about what I want from the marriage, relationship, rather than what the medium to long-term values that we can get, and also my contribution in strengthening that, building that lasting partnership. It's all about what the other person can offer, and less so of what the individual himself or herself will contribute to make the relationship work. And I think this is one of the key things, but I think are fundamental to, the problems we have around marriage these days. They say love is blind. I don't know about love is blind, but a modern commitment requires open eyes rather than blind passion. Partners need to be able to actively observe their spouses or potential spouse character and values before committing. And that's where the Africanness, the way our forebears used to do it, becomes important, because they are the ones who will know the other person's family and try and investigate. Some also see marriage as an investment. It's about, reciprocity. I give you this, you give me that. Once I'm able to get that thing from you anymore, then I withdraw mine. And that's what naturally marriage is not. That's not what it's meant to be. Most of the time, you find that when there are challenges in the financial situation of the home, there's a major stress. Things begin to fray at the edges. Rather than the couple coming together and trying to really, stay together and then walk through those challenges. I mean, most times you find that this kind of the crack begins to appear within the family, and then things again, if they're not careful, just go asunder from that. They begin to have suspicions, begin to issue of transparency, you begin to, that's impatience. And that again is where the issue comes. And that's where you see the transactional nature of some people, the mindset they went into the marriage with. And it also tests stability of the marriage itself. Loyalty and Christ of commitment is another thing. I mean, rather than, like I said, looking at contract, it's about covenants. In the past, they will say something you stay put, and then you try and see how you make it work. Most times, the decisions also, when children are involved, it also affects the children a lot. And when we take decisions, most times we don't think through how this will affect the children, not only in the immediate, but also in the future. Because the kids see what's happening, even though they may not talk when things are happening. It stays in their psyche. And when they grow up, it also affects their own behavior, the way they see marriage as well, and even how they develop into a man or a woman as well. So these are some of the things I think, in my view, we need to begin to relook at. And I'm happy that we have someone like Pastor Achudeme here, who I'm sure has run several dozens of counseling sessions for intending couples, and also Mrs. Egbemode, who can help us to much deeper light into this issue. Again, I want to welcome everybody to this session. I want to hand over to Pastor Ogjulu to help moderate the rest of the session for today. So I hope we do have a cracking session today and something we can learn from, and something that, you know, our audience and the larger society can take a cue from, and hopefully help us, you know, build better families. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kabiyesi. Let's get cracking. And I'll go straight to Apostle Lawrence Achidime. Well, marriage to me looks like something that is everybody's market. Whether you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Babalawo, everybody must ply the marriage route at one point or the other. Let me first find your preliminary input to this discourse by also asking, what do you consider the biggest threat to marriages today? Is it economic pressure? Is it infidelity? Is it social media? Is it ego or changing values? Over to you, Apostle Achidime.
Thank you for having me, and let me thank Kabiyesi for a very powerful introduction. He did a very good job on the topic. I was at a point thinking whether he's a professor on marriage, and but as a royal father, he's everywhere. So that was a very good one, and I want to thank God for Madam Gbemode. I've followed her for over 20 years. I've almost read all her articles right from Sun and everywhere. So it's a honor to be with her and the Kabiyesi on this platform and the various listeners. To go to your question, which of them is the major problem? I think from my perspective, all you have said is correct, all issues we have to deal with. But above all, there's a challenge of understanding on what actually is marriage. There's a lack of a proper understanding of what is marriage, a lack of understanding of why they are going into marriage. And like Kabiyesi said earlier, in those days, parents look into what and what. Today, it's not like that. Anybody can marry at the bus stop and divorce in the next bus stop. So we have a lot of, but there's a issue of understanding, either lack of it or not proper understanding on marriage. Why marriage? What is the essence of marriage? To many people, they think you go into marriage just because of sex. If you go to marriage because of sex, when you get tired of sex, you are going to walk out of it. So marriage is beyond sex. It's more than that. So all the issues you listed are part of the challenges we have in marriage, but then adding to it is lack of proper understanding on marriage.
Thank you very much, Apostle. Well, since we are starting this way, let me just do a follow-up question. Then I will allow Anthony to keep firing. I saw a video just even this night, a very popular pastor. And he said it is not only single people that husbands will marry, that those looking for wife can even also marry, that married men can, it's not offensive to scriptures that married men can propose to single ladies. Now, Apostle said, you said the problem starts from a basic misunderstanding of what marriage is. Many people have distorted the foundation of marriage. And like Kabiyesi said, it's a covenant. And a popular pastor is saying, even a lot of married men are allowed to marry single ladies as long as he carries along his wife. And I'm not sure that, I'm not sure whether you don't think that even this, some of this counseling, some of this school of thought, the aberrations that have affected marriage today. Jesus said, in the beginning, it was not so. It looks to me like one man, one wife. Except you don't think so. Let me pardon my perambulation. But
Yes, I got you. First of all, whoever pastor that says a married pastor, a married man, can propose marriage to a single lady, that is the height of ignorance. That is an abuse of marriage. That is a lack of proper understanding of what marriage should be about. And at best, that is lost. That may be a desire for sexual immorality, a desire for sex, but not marriage. And that is not scripturally based. It's not founded in scriptures. That a married man can propose to a single lady with either with the support of the wife or not. It is wrong. That is creating confusion. It is not right and should not be encouraged. Any pastor who encourages such lacks understanding and is not speaking from scriptures. And I do not endorse it anyway. It is not right.
okay. Before the microphone goes to my colleague, we want you to bring out the import of what Jesus was trying to say there. Does it mean that every man on this planet has one person to marry? I mean, because it's looking like out of sympathy, they'll tell you the population of ladies in the world, or girls or females, they are more than that of men, and they must marry any which way.
Now, if I get that question right, like you are asking me if there's a specific woman for a specific man, that may not be so. You have a choice on who you get married to. Like Kabiyesi rightly said, there are certain characteristics you may look out for. There are certain characters, there are certain things you look at, study the family lineage, all manners of things. What does Jesus mean when he said, in the beginning, it was not so? If you look at that scripture carefully, they ask him a question that Abraham said, when you want to divorce, give the person a divorce letter. And then once you give a divorce, just like it's been done today, that marriage is ended. Jesus said, yes, Abraham gave that advice because of the hardness of your heart. That in the beginning, it was not so. That is to say, because you refuse reconciliation, Abraham now endorsed that give a divorce letter. If you allow reconciliation, if you allow peace to reign, like Kabiyesi said, if you allow understanding, there should not be any difficulty in marriage that cannot be resolved. But in a case where you refuse to understand and to come to a point of compromise to make peace and to forgive one another, give a divorcement, and that ends the relationship. But in the beginning, that was not God's intention. God's intention in the beginning that when a man marries, they should marry for life. For example, you should not go into marriage with a mind to divorce or to break up. Because like Kabiyesi said, in divorce or breaking up or separation, people suffer. The woman suffers, the man suffers, and children suffer. It affects the size of the children. So husband and wife should endeavor to fight to maintain peace and reconcile where there are differences. That's why I said understanding is very important in marriage. Understanding of your spouse, understanding of your spouse's strength and weakness, understanding of his likes and dislikes, and being able to accommodate yourselves, and then to love yourself. Normally, I tell people, in marriage, the first thing should be friendship. Most people forgive their friends when they offend them, but they can't forgive their wife. So it takes a lot of understanding to have a good home, have a peaceful home, and raise peaceful children and a great nation.
Very intelligent take, Lawrence. Thank you very much. I didn't mean to sound like this because I think out of every one of us here, I am the one that is not married, at least not yet. Yes, I'm not married yet. Yeah. I am learning. I'm absolutely learning. But I want to address this to Mrs. Funke Egbemode. First of all, it's an honor having you join us this night. And recently, we've seen that marriages, I think my question is 2 in 1. Permit me to go off script a little bit. So we've recently seen a trend, just like our conversation, the topic, marriage in modern times, love, money, loyalty, and the crisis, of commitment and all of that. We see that these times, marriages don't go beyond a certain year, period of time. Unlike our parents, we see our parents who did 30 years together, 40 years together, 25 years together, they did it till the end. So I want to get your thought as to the reason why marriages don't last these days anymore. I don't know why, but there's been a trend. Then also, amongst the youth, there has been the fear of, marriage or settling down, getting committed, dedicated to, marriage in itself. And I don't know why that fear is there, but I suppose that you'd have something you want to say as far as this is concerned. I know that there's a lot of us that's dying to hear what you have to say about all of these, and we're hoping that we can find something that we can run home with. So, Mrs. Funke Egbemode, let's get to hear from you.
Okay. Good evening, Kabiyesi. Good evening, everybody on this platform. It's good to be here, and I'm having a lot of difficulty enjoying this. I was really enjoying the line of thought of Brother Lawrence. For me, most of the marriages that are contracted these days, even in the last 20 years, are based on the wrong foundations. Something about failed parenting, something about unrealistic.
Mrs. Funke, are you with us? Okay, it appears that we might have. Okay, Mrs. Funke, we can see you. Perhaps your mic is muted. Please do it on mute so we can hear you better. Okay. All right. So whilst we try to have Mrs. Funke reconnect with us, remember, Lagos, Nigeria, this is the boiling point. In a bit, we'll put the phone line close to get to hear what you have to say about the conversation we're having. And remember, we have Mrs. Funke Egbemode, who's about to share her story. So we're talking about marriage in modern times, with special emphasis on love, money, loyalty, and the crisis of commitment. We're also joined by Apostle Lawrence Achudina, who heard his thoughts earlier, and I know that a number of us will be, invited to share.
Back online.
We have Mrs. Funke back. Mrs. Funke, good to have you back with us.
Yes, Mrs. Egbemode, you have the floor now. Something
for some reason we are unable to get the thought of Mrs. Funke.
Marriages, I will concentrating more on the ceremony, and you will notice that the solemnity, the solemnization, the quietness, the seriousness at wedding ceremonies have disappeared. It's about the bride and the groom being lead actor and lead actress of a major movie. They just want to be the best dancer. You see choreography at weddings. These are supposed to be days of seriousness, of the beginning of a journey that determines the rest of your lives and eternity indeed, because the wrong choice of a partner will determine where you spend eternity, will determine how your career will go, will determine the kind of children you will raise. If we are going to have any. So everything is wrong with the foundation. And too many people are going into marriage thinking that romance marriage is not about romance.
We might be struggling to gather thoughts of Mrs. Cynthia. I think we might be a little bit in her connect on that. Hopefully we can it. We want to hear what you have to share as far as this is concerned. Mrs. Cynthia, if you're still with us.
Okay. Maybe we go back to Apostle Lawrence. You want to take a shoot?
Okay, I think I will make a shoot. Hopefully we were able to reconnect or restart afterwards, Mrs. Cynthia. We will, so, as much as I would love to ask you, let's talk about something, because
Yes, I'm with you.
Yes, did you get
Your voice is reverberating, so I couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. So I was trying to get your thoughts, your perspective as to what you consider marriage.
Yeah, I use it now. I still need it. Would arrange group score, what everything.
Pressure. I mentioned social media pressure. What exactly would you say, says that? Did you get that any better, Apostle Lawrence?
No, there was so many noise at your background. What is the question again?
All right. Once again, we're trying to understand the biggest threat. What constitutes the biggest threat to marriages according to your POV? And I mentioned a few talking about financial pressure.
Yes.
Talked about economic pressure, infidelity. But I want, in your own POV, what would you regard as the biggest threat?
Now, maybe I should start from the question you asked Sister Funke Egbemodi earlier. Okay, that many men are afraid of getting into marriage. One, like she said while she was talking, and even KBC said that, there's a complete misunderstanding of marriage and why people should go into marriage. First, the essence of marriage is not sex. It's first a relationship, companionship. It's in that relationship and friendship, sex comes in. Talk about procreation. So, and today, most men are scared of going to marriage. For example, you ask a young, in my counseling people, I've asked many young girls concerning finance, and you hear them say something like this: well, his money is our money, my money is my money. So the man's money is our money, the girl's money is his money. such understanding in going into marriage is purely economical. And such understanding will create problem in the home. Along the line, the man will feel used, will feel anything wrong with the relationship. There can't be genuine love in such understanding. You ask some ladies, what will you bring to the table? He say, my body. So many men are scared because they feel that most ladies don't know why they're coming. Some are coming to marry with the mind that they want to escape poverty in their father's house. And even those who are coming from rich home are coming, let me just marry and have a child, and not having a child, I can let the man go. So there need to be a complete reorientation, a proper education, not what we see on social media. Social media is causing damage, either Nollywood, Hollywood, or Bollywood. Those are make-believe. Those are not genuine. Those are not real. And many of our children are copying these errors on internet. Like Kabiyesi said, the African way of marriage, our traditional marriage, was more sincere, more genuine, and more serious than this Gen Z or this current generation of marriage, like Safunke was talking about. It's more of just dancing and show off. And after doing all those ones, when they get to the marriage, they don't know why they are there. That they are wondering, why am I in this marriage in the first case? And most young ladies, because of things they watch on social media, believe, let me just have a child. After having a child, I'm gone. And some ladies see marriage or see the man as their ATM. Let him carry my problem. So most men are scared because of this lack of proper understanding of marriage. Marriage should be first friendship, which best the genuine relationship. And then that can lead to other things that have to do with raising of children, building a future, and then having a proper understanding of themselves. I said friendship because, for example, most men are easy to forgive their friends when they offend them, but they find it difficult to forgive their wife when their wife offends them. So in coming to marriage, you must know your strengths and weaknesses. Like yourselves. Love yourselves to be quick to forgive when there is a mistake. And then to always want to start all over again. There will not be any marriage where there will not be a misunderstanding or there will not be a disagreement. Even a pastor's marriage have misunderstanding, have disagreement, but understanding makes them to forge ahead and not too quick to throw in the towel. But today, let me say, well, since I've given birth to children, what do I need the man for? And the lady will say, if the man cannot meet my need, and if a man can meet my need, that is not the essence of marriage. Marriage is beyond that. So I don't know how to now narrow it down to one specific problem, because the problem is variant. There are many. Social media effect, economic effect, and then also pressure, or will I call it third parties and fourth parties influence. As a pastor, I've come to see that people that have broken home appear to be better counselors to people. So often that they mislead a lot of stuff, and then trying to copy what you don't know the real root. There was a case I had of a woman who was fighting the husband because she feels the husband does not open the car door for her. Each time he sees their neighbor going out, the neighbor's husband, open the car door for her. And she began to nag on the husband. Because she said, our neighbor, they are romantic, they are loving. The husband open car door, and you don't open car door for me. And then one day, the man went to the neighbor to say, oh boy, tell me, you open door for your wife. Is that how you, what is the essence? The man said, oh boy, it's not because I like it to, the car door is bad. So my wife can't open it. So for me to open, I had to kick the door and lift it up to open. It's not because of love, it's because the door is bad. Meanwhile, a marriage is almost broken Because you see a husband opening door without finding out why is he doing it. So copying wrong, not having a proper perspective. Why am I going into this marriage? Why do I want to marry this man or marry this woman? Is it for life? When he makes a mistake, will I forgive? When she makes a mistake, will I forgive? Once we can come to those understanding and realize that when there is crisis in marriage, not only the couple suffer, their families suffer, the children suffer, and the nation suffer too. So I think there needs to be a proper education on marriage. Marriage is not just for social show off. It's not just for dancing at the reception. There is more to it. Proper understanding that I'm marrying my friend. I'm marrying somebody I like. Let me use the word like. Then you can talk about love and intimacy. Friendship leads to sexual intimacy. I hope I'm making any sense if I get your question right.
Okay. Thank you very much. I would have wished to throw this question at but I'm not seeing her on the radar now. Or she? Well, let me, if she's not on the radar, let me go to Apostle Achidule. There is this teaching I had when I was young, and they said, what do men want of women? That is, they said, they gave a 3 paradigm because we need to come down to everybody's level. We are talking about love here. 1, a Cinderella in the sitting room. Somebody prioritizes beauty. The second one is a homemaker. They call that one a crook in the kitchen. Can handle everything about home. The third paradigm, they talk about a maniac on the bed. Recently, Daddy Gio Baba Oyedepo stirred the hornet's nest when he said, of course, he was addressing his children and said, don't marry a lady who cannot cook. Till now, that has not gone well with many of the ladies. Ability to cook or not cook, is it a hindrance in marriage? Thank you. Over to you.
Well, in today's world, it was Baba Deboye that said it, not Bishop Oyedepo, just to make that right.
I said Baba Adeboye. I mentioned Adeboye.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. Now, in today's world, whether the girl can cook or not may not be. In the time of that Adeboye, that is a prerequisite. And Kabisi can also tell us about that. But today, there are a lot of eateries and this Gen Z generation. I was visiting somebody and he told the young daughter to go and please quickly make me eba. And the guy made indomie and brought. And this is a young graduate. And the one I said, the guy said he can't make eba. That is indomie. So in this generation, that may not be as much as it is important that a wife should know how to cook. But that may not be a condition. You gave 3 instances. Those 3 things you mentioned are needed in a good marriage. They are all needed.
Even the emotional side.
Of course, it's needed in a good marriage. They must be all balanced. It's good a wife should know how to cook. I was counseling a couple this afternoon, and I told them, I said, look, I know as in your generation is golden mom, indomie. So your parents should be careful to visit you after marriage so that they don't get angry because they visit your home and your wife will prepare golden mom, and that is not what Your wife, your mother cannot take that and cause problem. So we need to understand generational gap when it comes to marriage. So I normally tell parents, please don't go to your young daughter-in-law's house and expect food with Iru like our mothers or grandmother used to cook in it, because today they don't know Iru. So they need to show understanding. But talking about good dressing, good manner, good character, and then, like you said, in the other room, they are necessary to have a good home. It must be well balanced. And there must not be starvation of any of them in a home. Every man wants a woman who dresses well, who has a good attitude, good character. And like you said, what do men really need from women it varies. Oftentimes, men talk about respect. And I've heard this several times. I've heard almost in every marriage talk about communication. Respect begets respect. Honor begets honor. Sarah called Abraham Lord because Abraham behaved like one. And when it comes to communication, communication is not just talking. Communication is speaking, listening, have understanding before you respond. Not one is speaking and you are in a hurry to reply. There'll be problem. So these are things that we need to teach young couples in marriage so that they will build a home and not build it on sand, that when the wind comes, it will blow it away.
Okay. What's what you do, man? Before I go over to Anthony, you mentioned the generation gap. Granted, but I think you are the one who also spoke about money issue. If I have a wife who cannot cook, today you say, let's go to wetland. Tomorrow, let's go to Sweet Sensation. Or keep mentioning eateries here and there.
You'll be
That's
broke
going
very
to be a
soon.
drain.
You'll be broke very soon.
Then you are likely arriving at the same issue with the consensus with Baba Adeboye when he said, a lady who cannot cook will get you into trouble. I think there seems to be a consensus there.
Yeah, there
Isn't
is.
it?
I'm not ruling it out, but I'm saying to spice up your relationship, your marriage in today's world, once in a while, go to the eatery, go to the restaurant, go to the hotel. It helps to spice up the marriage and the relationship. Not for her to always be cooking. Today's generation will not want to cook always, but any woman who gets into marriage should be able to cook what the husband eats and be a good cook.
Okay.
All right, I'm actually enjoying this conversation. There's a lot for me to learn. There's a lot, I know that a lot of us as well getting from this conversation. But you know, there's this, I mean, there are issues we see. Things like we hear a man supporting a woman. Okay, they're not married yet, okay? The man supports the girlfriend, you know, through school for a period, say 18, I mean, say 7 period, I don't know how many years, but for a long time. This lady is able to go catching of this man who is married. They are not married. They're just in a relationship. The lady finishes school and she becomes successful. She seeks another man. One is perhaps wealthy, socially, probably maybe more younger. And that's a particular situation. Is it success that we build the true character? What exactly do you think Victoria? Why would such a person embrace that man after everything? So we're looking at are we talking about money here? Because most times we say love is the new anthem, the new motto is love is not enough. So just like even one of my popular says, you know, love is sweet, but once money enters, the sweeter. So these days we see that love and money are more or less
prerequisite for marriage or for settling down. In other words, you cannot use love alone to get into marriage. So what would you advise to the younger ones? They are yet to get married, but they have it in mind to get married. So they're probably saying to themselves, how do we go about, settling down if we do not have money? So would you advise that maybe as a young man, you do not have enough financially, not capable enough financially, go into marriage, don't go into marriage. I want to get your thoughts on that.
Well, I really tried to stretch my ears to hear because there were many noise coming from your end. So there were reverberation, but if I get you right, I think I got to, to get to one, a man that has a girlfriend and sponsor the girl her education. Is that correct?
That's part of it. That's part of it.
Part of it. And then the other one is having money for wedding and other stuff. Must do the elaborate wedding, something like that.
Now, because let me try to put this off so we don't get that reverberation. Okay. I was trying to clarify. These days, they say that love is sweeter when there is money. So, in other words, don't get married if you're not financially capable to a certain degree. So, I want to know if you follow or you buy that school of thought where you say, okay, yes, as a man, if you're not financially capable, you will not advise that you get married, or you will not advise that you settle down. Others would say things like, oh, but my parents, when they got married, we hear beautiful stories like, I didn't have anything. I was as poor as a church rat. But in the process, we got married and God blessed us. You know that saying in the Bible that who finds a wife finds a good thing. And so as a result of, you want to run with that mantra. So if I marry, that means God will bless me. By the way, there are people who are, who believe that to a large extent, because they will tell you that, man, I did not have anything, but when I married, God opened doors for me. So in other words, my wife was the harbinger of success of my wealth. So how would you respond to such school of thought?
Thank you. I wish Sister Funke answered that, but I will try. I will answer because asking a pastor normally will speak faith and talk, yes, you can marry without money. But let me now, does love is sweeter with money? Is that correct? Yes. But money should not be the basis for love. Money can spice it. Money can add value to it, but should not be the foundation. The first thing is genuine relationship. There should be trust, mutual trust between the people involved. Money answers many things. Money answers wedding ceremony. Money answers good food. Money answers for good home. Money answers for a good car, which makes marriage sweet, like they say. Should everything be based on money, that without money you can't get married? I don't think so. Have a vision, have a plan for your life. The first thing any man should have is vision. What is your plan? And you see, the Bible says that God said he will make man a helpmeet for him. Many of us believe those scriptures so well and enter marriage because we needed a help. Somebody who can balance us up to meet our vision in life. So all we had was the money to start off. And thank God for our faith. God helped us. That does not mean you should go into marriage foolishly without a plan for a better future. You must have a plan for a better future. Lest you bring somebody's daughter to suffer in your house and she become kwashoko and become something else. So I will answer your question in two ways. Can I go into marriage without money but to do the wedding? Yes, if you have a plan to have it, to take care of the woman and to take care of the children. But a man that has no vision, no plan to have a good life and to care for the family, well, I don't know what to answer. You can make your judgment. But I will advise that first of all, have a job, have a means of income, a source of income, so that you don't bring somebody's daughter to punish her in your house. So money it spices up relationship. Financially capable to care for your family. Yes, it's important. In today's world, it's very important because we live in a very competitive world. I don't believe in comparing yourselves in marriage, but have a minimal take-off resources. Not that she comes in and from the first day you are declaring prayer and fasting for 30 days for the innocent lady who you just got married to. It doesn't make sense. So you should have a means of livelihood, have something to take off, and then begin to build on it. I think, thank God, Funke is back. Maybe Funke will talk more on that. I've read many of her stories, many of her, both side cheek and left cheek, all her comments.
Possibly you are really in the spirit. A question that I dare not ask you is what you have leaked out. Now, I'm going to reserve it for Sister Egbemode, the issue of side cheek.
I'm not around.
I hope Funke Egbemode is now fully back with your microphone on. The issue of side cheek. Thank you. The issue of side cheek in at least the contribution to the malaise that we are talking about. Let me join it with this so that we can give you adequate time. My 82-year-old mother told me a story. She was about 19, and her father just said, "Oh yeah, bundle her in the car, go with this man." And that was how my father and my mother married. And my mother would say, "No, no, no, I'm not going with this man. I'm not going." They tied her. They took her away. Years later, my mother was telling me, she said, that Babaru Ujulu is not just my husband, it's my father. That time, she didn't like it, but they ended it up. It was like a heaven on earth marriage. I want to ask, those days, what they do, can they still do it now? When a father would just say, "Oh yeah, take this one. I know this one will treat my daughter very well." Let's combine both. Over to you, Funke Egbemode.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the side chick and arranged marriage or forced marriage. If you look at the way it was then, it can no longer be like that. You cannot bundle your daughter into a vehicle. Don't forget that she's most
There is a connection. Bring it on.
daughter. Those days where these marriages are crumbling because they are just cobbled together. There's nothing wrong in steering your children in the right direction, steering your nieces and your nephews in the right direction, because you know that, oh, this young man had always shown promise, had always had a good head on his shoulders. Okay, we'll make a good partner for my niece or for my daughter or for my younger sister. I think, like the Yorubas will say, abere to ba lokun nidi ki sonu. That is, a threaded needle is easier to find than the one that has no thread. So we can still modernize or adjust that bundling of daughters by, steering them in the right path.
Think we might be having
The right things.
on campus.
Yes, waiting for the side chick matter.
A lot of us are also caused by bad parenting. The network keeps frustrating me, but I
you are
think
on.
it's just,
You are loud and clear now.
yeah, but it went off here for a while. So let us help resuscitate, rejuvenate the marriage institution. We can't leave it to these children because we are doing so well in making them successful career girls, career boys. We want them to do better than us. We don't want them to suffer like we did, but we are leaving out the marriage part. Parents are failed woefully. We have not scored above average. We have not even scored average in the marriage department. So let me quickly say, go to the side chick matter. Side chicks exist because there are side cocks. It's because men want to marry second and third wives by proxy, through the back door, through the windows. It is all the fault of men. I'm not going to admit that, side chicks are just girls roaming around and, trying to trap men. Just the way I've always held this view that I do not believe that the world is full of husband snatchers. Men are doing all this. They are the snatchers. They are the ones snatching right, left, and center. They are the ones who hide their secretaries. They are the ones who want to date their PAs. So whether they are in church or they are at home or they are at work, they are a risk to women. They are leading us astray. They are enticing women with money. So for as long as today's men want second wives by proxy, they want another home, they want alternatives to their wives. Well, the side chick issue will always be there because the side chick is really not the side chick. It's just the other woman, the second wife, that they have not taken to the registry. So may the Lord help men deal with their greed, and may the Lord help women keep their homes. Let's not forget that the way our parents, our mothers and grandmothers could bear unfaithfulness, infidelity in marriage, because most of them did not have options. They did not have other homes. They can't go back to their father's homes, their parents' abode, because they tell them when they are leaving that we have let out your room. You have no home back with us. Today's kids by 30 can afford to rent their own duplexes. So if the man becomes a nuisance and they have unforgiving spirits, like Brother Lawrence said at the beginning, this unforgiving spirit is major. Is when you combine the unforgiving spirit with the independence of today's woman, the options that are open to her. She does not need a man to become a husband to become a mother. She does not need a man to provide a roof over her head or feed her. Everything just becomes very, very complicated. So I think my own solution, the only solution I can offer, is that parents need to do better.
Okay. Thank you very much. But I'm still on you there. and a part of the question will be later on answered by Apostle. But Funke Ogbemode, something happened in the social media about a week or two ago. We saw a couple who transacted with another young lady on the same marital bed. They recorded, they did a video of themselves. What is happening with this influence of social media? And the part that will concern Apostle Achudume is that there's a prophecy in the Bible that says in the later times that people will be inventors of evil. And look at the video. It was very sordid. I mean, a woman, her husband, they made consensual arrangement with another lady on the same bed. We see people doing videos in the bathroom, in the jacuzzis. What is happening to women? When you were talking, it was like a male versus women thing, although you struck a balance somewhere that, well, men, go and handle your greed, and the women too. They are lost for money and other things. What would be your take here? Hope we still have Funke Ogbemode. If we don't have her presently, maybe Apostle would take the part that concerned that prophecy foretold before. Why is it that these days people are inventing things, evil practices that never before existed, even though the Bible says there is nothing actually new under the sun? I think Funke Ogbemode is back. I'll come over to you, Apostle Achudume. Funke?
Yes,
Thank
please.
Did you
I
hear the
didn't hear
question?
the last question. What was the last prompting?
Well, the issue of the couple that made an arrangement with another lady on the same bed and they did their video, the matter is still trending. And then there is a part that says, well, there have been prophecies that at the end time, people will, invent evil practices. It looks like most ladies would like to even have private things videoed and posted on the. We have seen a lot of it happen. You must have a word about that. Over to you, Funke. Okay, so you take care of that glitches. Let's go over to Apostle Achudume, then we come back to you. Apostle.
All right, thank you, sir. Talking about the issue about the couple that were filmed, that didn't see the video, but that has to do with the madness of this generation. Marriage used to be honorable and carries respect and dignity. But in today's world, everybody wants to trend, even in the most foolish behavior. And people will be clapping. So people are losing honor, thinking they are being social.
They are sick.
Are you on, madam?
Okay.
Yes. Yes, I said,
bring it up.
Couples documenting private, very intimate moments. They need their heads examined. It's a sickness. If you want to make love in public, you can't be right on the head. That's the truth. Because if you are documenting intimate moments with your partner to show it or
what do we do here?
Okay.
Apostle, please. I'm
Yes,
sure we'll get back later.
yes. So, like she said, there's people that do that need their head examined, and then
Oh, you agree with her?
There's nobody.
yes, I do.
There's the people who are applauding this nonsense. Have you caught them with their own sexual intimate moments? They just want live porn. They want porn, and they want it to be about people. They want the actors of pornography to be people that they know. Everybody is sick.
How do we cure this sickness now? Because it has nothing to do with class. In fact, it's more common with elites. What do you think?
Is that still for me or Brother Lawrence?
Yeah,
Because
for you. Let's hear you, please. You have the floor.
how do we cure it? I'll go back
How
to
do we cure
parenting
the
and teaching
madness?
the right values. I'll go back to the religious leaders.
Or is it the society that is sick? Because when they post such videos, you see a flurry of comments. You say, can I see the video? Please send the video. Please go on, Funke. Well, this is one episode that will soon return to the floor for interactions. Maybe we'll let the people do the talking. Let me quickly go back to Apostle to wrap that up.
Like Sister Funke was saying, if you come back to the African tradition of marriage, and if you come back to this, I often tell people that our tradition is closer to the Bible than the white man's style of doing things. People that do such need their heads examined, yes. But like you said, people applaud them. That is a social problem in our hands. We need to go back to the ancient culture of marriage, to discipline, to dignity, to marital honor. Not this funfair and all this stuff they are doing. Recently, I read also, I think I read in the news recently about some people in the north who were exchanging their wives one for another. And to them, it is fun. And they were arrested and put on trial. And when people post this nonsense, it trends. And people celebrate them. So we have a challenge. Parental care. We need to go back to teach these children what is the dignity and the honor in marriage. Talking about the prophecy, I'm sure you're talking about 2 Timothy chapter 3 in your prophecy, you're talking about where the last days, perilous time, people shall be lovers of themselves. Because you see, as you asked me, how do we define marriage? It will be difficult to define marriage today. Thank God for KBC who gave us a definition. Because today, you see even women marrying 3 husbands, 1 woman to 3 husbands. And people are applauding it. So it's a big challenge. Yes, a lot of things are going on. People are losing dignity. They are losing honor. They are losing respect. And they call it being social. Like Safunke said, that is porn. So we need to go back to traditional marriage, where a man marries a woman, they respect themselves, and it's private. Having intimacy with wife should be a private thing, not a public thing. But they do it to make money from Facebook or internet. So it boils back to money matter.
Do you also justify, that there are more women canvassing the issue of polygamy for men than men themselves. Maybe it's about this money generation from Facebook, because they are the one who would say, it's good for men marry 2, 3 wives. Oh, Sister Agbemode wants to talk there.
She will answer it.
Oh, yeah. Funke, you are on. Oh.
You see, most people advocate men to marry many women. Let me leave tradition out of fear that there are not enough men. And they feel, is she on?
No. I'm the one saying that must be sympathy.
Yes, sympathy. And when you marry somebody in sympathy, it will last. It's out of pity. Any woman, any man that marries you because he pities you, will use you as a slave, treat you as a slave. You will not have respect. You don't have a voice. There is more to marriage than entering a home to have sex and give birth to children. It's more of a relationship for life. It has to do with future. It has to do with living a life of success, peace, and joy, not momentary thing. Not to have a child. After having a child, you can do it with the man. It's more than that. If you ask me as a pastor, will I advocate for a man to marry many women? Much as some people have done it and they're okay with it. I have no problem with that. But I came from a polygamous home, and I know the challenges we face in a polygamous home. But let me leave that. Yes?
Yeah, you would want to say never again because of
that is
the challenge.
It's what I faced. Because maybe from my own experience, I've not, because a lot of problems go with polygamy. The children are introduced into battle, they don't know when it started. Even the women who initially were friends begin to fight themselves. So, well, I know some people have been able to do it well, but personally, with my experience in my father's house, I may not advocate it.
Okay, thank you very much. In the last 3 years, we have seen if Funke is hearing, you can also take a plunge into it. The last 3 years, Nigerians have witnessed hardship of monumental dimensions, to the extent that even ordinary soft drink, 500 naira or 1,000 naira, can get some. Hey, are you listening? Hello.
I'm listening.
Asking whether is poverty more dangerous to marriage than infidelity that we have been talking about? Because if you go to the streets and find out how many of our young girls have become pregnant, how many of our school girls have been pregnant, guess who has been impregnating them? Okada riders. How? Because they have access to some little cash. Take 1,000 naira. They will say, take a bottle of one soft drink or so is enough to carry a lady and go, and they make a mistake from that. What about the issue of hardship and poverty? Thank you. Oh. Funke has disappeared again. Apostle, over to you.
Okay. Now, is poverty more difficult than infidelity? I don't know how to really define the two of them or weigh them. But let me say that the issue of my wife was doing a program on young girls, teenagers. We discovered that young girls at 9 years old were not virgins. And we're shocked. 9 years old girls are not virgins. 10 years, 11 years old girls are not virgins. And it was a surprise to us. And we have to find a way to address it. One, it boils back to what Sister Funke said about parental care. Parents have failed their children. You may be poor but have sense. You can be poor but be disciplined. You can be poor, understand local education, traditional education to teach your children to be disciplined and to be contented with what they have. But most parents don't lose. I think Safunke is saying something.
Okay. Funke, you have the microphone now. You have the floor.
Intelligent. Okay. I think I would prefer that he finishes his line of thought so I can continue from there.
Okay. Apostle?
I was rather talking from the parental upbringing, which he said earlier, that even though you are poor, have a sense of discipline how to raise a child, especially the girl child. I don't think poverty should make a responsible mother or father to throw the young daughter to the street for any man to get her pregnant. Many of us grew up in the villages where there was poverty, and yet we saw people who grew up in such places and become decent mothers and decent wives. Much as poverty is adding to the issues today, but I think parents should be able to guide their children and be contented. This is who we are. We don't have it, but with what we have, this is the path you should follow in life. But don't throw these young girls to the street to become pregnant by any Tom, Dick, and Harry on the road, who will not be able to care for them. As a pastor, I know what I suffer, what I go through to care for children who we don't know their fathers, to care for young girls who became pregnant. They will mention 3 men. This one's slavery. So we don't know who got them pregnant. So I think parents have a lot to do. Yes, religious leaders have to do. Teachers in schools have to a lot to do. Every parent in those days, like I said, in those days, every child is everybody's child in the village. But today, people don't care about other people's children. They can't even advise other people's children. So I think parents need to be to be educated, to be a total reorientation about the girl child in particular, to avoid this nuisance that we see everywhere.
Thank you very much. Funke Egbemode. Now we can have you.
It's just about the pervasive perversion about intimacy. The daddies are too busy, the mommies are too busy. The children are just left to roam like domestic.
I think we lost connection with her again.
Yes, like what she was saying, parents are too busy. It's also a factor. Father is busy looking for money. The mother at home busy doing something else. So they're left. I think we must come back to the traditional care of children. And again, one thing that also affecting the African youth is this Japaism. This of a young girl who has not known the African tradition and now living abroad and living alone with somebody else. It also has a negative effect on our young girls and young boys. Because the discipline normally the African give their children, we are losing it. Okay. So when they get there, they are carried by the Western world, and then it becomes a challenge.
Okay, let's have Funke Egbemode again. Before we go to the floor for interactions, I would want to say that if you want to make contributions, you can keep your hands up now. And Anthony, we need to know the studio line.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have very
Yeah, before the network interrupts my thoughts again. The both if people get married, they can remain husband and wives. But if they want to become parents, then they must be ready for it. The modern parenting, parents have to make modern sacrifices. They cannot want, a man cannot want a working wife who contributes to the rent and not want to be a working dad who contributes to parenting. Everything must change. You cannot become a Lord like Abraham while not doing your part as a Lord. And then there was this thing we were talking about, just that the apostle was talking about. And I started talking about, then the line went off about side chicks and it's women who are like advocating for polygamy. No, we're not advocating. Women are not advocating for polygamy. They are saying men should own polygamy with their full chest. So now you want 3 women in your life. Bring them home. Let's see if you have the energy, the money, and the wisdom to care for them.
Oh,
So
you will,
let's care for
you
the
will support,
children.
you will support that one.
If a man wants a woman, keep 1 woman. If you want 2, bring the 2 home. Let's see if you have the mind and the wisdom and the money and the energy to go from bedroom to bedroom and pay school fees until you are 80. But you cannot be doing all this corner and, doing polygamy through the back door. Own it with your full chest. You want 2 women, get 2 women. Put them under your roof. See if you are as smart as your grandfather.
Okay. The side chick issue. I hope you know that the side chicks do not stand alone. It's either they do one juju or the other, and they enter into the man's head. What do you think about that?
The side chicks enter the man's head. Where did he
Enter
put
the
his
man's
head?
head.
Who brought out the key that they are using to enter the man's head? Man, they give us powers that we.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, what do we do? Let's call the studio number to call.
It's just the men that can't cope. When their wives change, they can't cope. When the side chick changes, they can't cope. When they cheat, we are supposed to cope. When we cheat, they can't cope.
But why do women cheat in a marriage? We've not done the statistics. We don't know who is taking the lead now. But why would women cheat in marriage? And Tony, please call out the studio number to call.
All right, so let's give the listener the opportunity to also share their thoughts, concerns, ask the questions in the next few minutes that we have. Numbers to connect: 0906 499 2649, alternatively 0741 007949. Again, it's 0906 499 2649. 0741 007949. You can as well connect via the text and WhatsApp number, that is 0915 849 4949. 0915 849 4949. So you can go for 1 or 2 listener on the conversation. And also perhaps on the Zoom, if we have anyone who has questions.
Yes, please indicate with a raise of hands.
Absolutely. So we will give you the platform just, for a few minutes there.
Okay. There is a question here all the way from Canada, from Baru in Femi Shodunke. It says, sincerely speaking, how do we address the so-called large number of unmarried girls who are more than men? Does this warrant one man marrying multiple wives to address the overnumbered girls to boys, or what do we do? We have a call.
Let's take a caller before we.
Okay.
Hello, good evening. Lost connection with your apologies. Make it back. Okay, it's 90619 700 794 text and WhatsApp as always. 091 will address your podcast. So back to you.
Well, they said, what are the implications of some governments in the northern part of Nigeria sponsoring marriages of multiple girls to boys at one fell swoop? What roles can community and religious bodies play to redeem the institution of marriage? Can they help to solve the problem, even sponsoring them like in the north? We note that question. If they call back, yes, let's see who is on Zoom. Oluranti or Jeladi, but your hands have been up for quite a long while.
Yes,
Let's
I
see.
deliberately kept it up so that you can call me first. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, welcome. Boiling Point.
I want to give kudos to Mama Lagos West, the bishop wife of Lagos West, who formed a association of young wife association between 0 to 15 years in marriage, and she bring 40, 50, 30-year-old mothers that have stayed in their marriage to come and lecture them. And I can tell you for sure that breaking of marriage have really gone low in Lagos West Diocese as I'm talking to you now. Then talking about what we've been discussing about, let me just tell you about my personal life. My mom became a widow in 1975 when we lost my dad, age 44, and she trained myself and 5 other siblings, and we became what we became today. I took a decision in 2012 at age 44, left my very viable paid job to take care of my children because I discovered that my work was taking me away from my children, and it's really paid off because you're taking that drastic action then. Though I went into storm of life at the time, but I came out of it. So talking of marriage, in Anglican diocese nationwide, and we're talking about marriages, and we condemn this society wedding, a wedding that will just take only one day, that people will come, eat, probably give up, and for a lifetime marriage, blissful home. So my question is to the pastor is that why must we do society wedding? Is it because to compete with our friends, folks? Because that is really affecting most couples. They will go and get loan from right, left and center to do the wedding, and the wedding will break up. But how I wish all other dioceses or other denominations can copy what Mama Lagos West did, because that really helped marriage from breaking up. Any new marriages, the lady will be welcome to the Young Wife Association in my Lagos diocese. So that's just my take.
I must thank God for your life, for seeing the need to step back from your busy schedule to care for the children. And I thank God for Mama, to your mother, and for what the Lagos West of African Diocese has done to educate young girls in marriage. I don't think there are pastors who encourage lavish wedding. In fact, most of us pastors are trying to discourage lavish wedding by allowing people to do office wedding, or do wedding on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but not on Saturday, where less people will attend. So I personally don't encourage lavish wedding. I encourage people to do it as they can cope with. And another, like I told a couple today, I say people who are coming for a wedding on Saturday, they have food at home. So don't go and break the bank to want to feed people who have eaten before they came, or who have food before they come to your wedding. So I don't encourage lavish wedding. I tell people as much as possible, do it small, and then have means so that after the wedding you can begin a new life. And I think I must say again that I think Barry was asking about, or somebody asked about people doing mass wedding. Anglican Church does the same thing. Catholic Church does the same thing. Mass wedding for those who can't cope. But my advice is this: after doing such mass wedding, give them some fund to start a new life. Otherwise, we are multiplying poverty. What do we do with many women, like my friend Chief Shoduke asked, that it appears there are more women than men. Suleiman, what should we do? Let me say this. This may look hard, but everybody must not marry. Much as it's advisable to get married, there are people that may not want to get married, and they should let them live their life the way to live their life. Do I advocate for that? No. Sister Funke was speaking. She said, any man that knows he has a full chest, that can marry multiple without causing confusion, that is their business. There are religions that encourages multiple. That's why I don't want to go into that aspect. That encourages multiple women and all that stuff. But my own is this: if you go into marriage, let there be peace, let there be joy. Don't hit women's head together and they become enemies for nothing, multiplying sorrow in the name of getting to get married. So I think we must trust God and live peaceably, that you have your wife, you have your husband, and then you live well with your husband and be disciplined to your marriage, so that will not end up causing problem in the state or nation where we live. It appears I've lost everybody.
Say here, you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So that is my take on that. But we need to educate people more. And ladies should not be afraid of getting a wife or getting a husband. It is fear that makes many to panic. And fear of these statistics, most of these statistics, I don't know whether they are correct. There are many statistics I've read about a ratio of women to men. So we say there are, but they don't even tell us whether they are matured girls or young children. To me, I believe as a pastor that there are not matured men to marry matured women. Currently, I'm talking about many ladies in more women that are talking about 2 days old girls, 3 years old girls, who are not mature for marriage. I think God made
let me ask you, Apostle, very quickly.
Yes, sir.
If you support a woman who wants to stay in peace and not marry and to continue to enjoy God, what happens when that lady desires a baby and then she goes to do, what do they call this, finding a way to have a baby without having a man? Would you also support that?
I think there are, let me say this. I think with technology today, there are is this sperm banks? They have sperm banks, and also you can adopt a child. Yes. You can adopt a child. Those are various means to have a child without having a husband, if that is what the person wants. So technology has helped to solve many problems.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's quickly unmute Eddie Ademosu. And if Funke Egbemode wants to join the field, please feel free at any point. Please unmute Eddie Ademosu. Okay, please bring it on. Bring it on. Bring it on, Funke.
I do not know. Yes, this society wedding thing, we need to start taking second and third looks at it. it does not make a lot of sense, especially when you have couples paying up to 5 million for venue, and they are living in self-contained of 1 million, and then 6-7 hours they pay 5 million, 6 million for a venue, and then give food to people who are not hungry, who are coming from another party. It does not make sense. We need to also, and like I keep saying, it comes from the home. It is the parents that have allowed them to think like that. I had a society wedding, but I also let my children know that they can't do more than they can afford. And if I'm the one paying for the venue, because I'm the mother of the bride, I also decide I cannot afford a television set. A decent television set for his one small sitting room, he has no business. Go.
You wrapped up your thoughts. Thank you. Can we omit Chaplain Salisu?
Elaborate wedding is a social problem, society problem. Parents' influence, peer influence, and many things. And you talk about cost of event centers. You talk about cost of electricity, diesel. You talk about tax that these event centers, it's a chain effect. So there need to be a complete overview of this to make people have a more meaningful, minimal life that is comfortable and convenient for them.
Okay. Please unmute. We are racing against time now. Chaplain Salisu. Okay. Is Barrow still racing
Thank
up
you
his
very
hand?
much.
Okay. Very
Thank
quickly,
you very
please.
much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. I was waiting for Apostle Achudume to land on his views. I am looking at marriage institution from my own perspective of the families. I mean the in-laws, the couple. They were coming from different backgrounds. There are some situations that the marriages are being destroyed by in-laws. I look forward to a time that whereby the couples were undergoing marriage counseling, that both in-laws from both sides will always be called up to show up for counseling as in-laws so that they can let the marriage work. In-laws have very, very important roles in making marriage works. Thank you very much. Over and out.
Thank you. Well, let's take Barrow and then we now come back to Funke.
Yes, thank you very much. Actually, today's topic is very controversial. So I
didn't quite get that point.
Which of them? The one by the person speaking? We're coming back to you for the wrap-up. Barrow, please go on.
Oh yes,
the last speaker, I didn't quite get her point, but
I was talking about interference.
Let's listen to Barrowing.
Okay, thank you.
So, like I was saying, that today's topic is very
interference. It comes back to parenting.
So that is why
I've told us that we are just not doing well.
Okay. Barrow, just continue your line of thought.
Unhappy mothers going to inflict themselves as mothers-in-law. Unhappy mothers going to inflict themselves on their children's marriages. Women should hold their husbands' homes instead of going to give trouble make trouble in their sons or their daughters' homes.
The issue of
It
Omogo
is still part
is
of
there
the
now.
parents not doing their jobs. Raise your boys well, raise your girls well, and then all will be well. We need to do
Let me
better.
ask you this, Funke. I have children, maybe they are abroad, and they just have maybe a set of twins. Now they need the parents to come. Who should go between me and my wife? The question is for you, Funke.
I returned together. My father and my mother came together when I had my first child. They came together and left together. Go and stay with your marriage. Let them rise and fall on their own. Don't turn your father into a widower while his wife is still alive. I do not sanction that. You can't make a maid of your mother. If you can't afford a nanny, say so. We will look for one for you. It's 9 months. The pregnancy is 9 months. We have 9 months to look for a nanny. Don't go and inflict yourself on other people's marriages. Stay with your husbands.
Okay. Well, we will still have KBSC will still take his time, normal time. At least it will take like 6-7 minutes. But let's get to Baru. Conclude your thoughts.
Yeah, yes, thank you very much. What I'm trying to say that today's topic is very crucial. So I have some guys around me here in Canada who was asking me, help us to ask questions. So let me quickly ask those questions. Number one, some of them they are saying that Apostle Ashudume did not specifically mention to them where in the Bible God said a man should marry one wife. So they are here listening to you. So when you want to answer, know that there are some guys here that are listening to you. And secondly, they're saying that what happens to our great-grandparents who have married 2 or 3 wives in the past before they brought Christianity? Is Christianity not the influence of we now saying that a man should marry one woman? What happened to our great-grandparents who married? Are they going to go to hell for doing that? And lastly, what about those who marry and there's no children? Is that allowed for them to have second wife? Because some of them, they've had that kind of experience. And when they come to abroad, it is very difficult for you to divorce, for instance, in Canada. So in that situation, some of them, they run back home to go and impregnate women there, and they are living with another. What do we do in this kind of situation? Thank you very much. The boys are listening. So take that into consideration.
It's over to you.
Well, there are many scriptures that, if you look at Genesis chapter 2, verse 17 downwards, it says, God said, it's not good for a man to be alone. I will make him a help meet for it. He didn't say helps. He said, therefore, a man shall be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh, not 3 flesh. However, having said that, I'm aware that we live in a multicultural environment. There are those that believe in having more than one wife. There are those that believe in having one wife. I wouldn't want to be an authority on how many wives a man should marry. It depends on your belief system. But for me, as a pastor, as a Christian, I believe in one wife. There are those that believe in having multiple wives. And then, so that is for that. Then the other question is our parents that practice polygamy. If you go back to history, like our KBC may tell us, go back to history, many of them practice polygamy at the beginning because of history say because of famine. They need more hands in their farm for their business. They have to marry more women to have more hands to cope with. And also because of appetite. In order, like Sister Funke said, instead of keeping side chick, why not have a broad chest and bring the woman in. So our parents practice those things. So that is our culture, the traditional culture of the people. So Christianity came up and said one wife. There are those who believe in a traditional culture of multiple wives. There are religions that believe in multiple. That is them. But for me as a pastor, I prefer to stay with one wife and have my peace than to stay with multiple wives. Those that can manage them, like Safunke said, fine, that is them. I don't have a say in that. But for me and my own understanding, I prefer to stay with one wife. That's my personal opinion.
Mrs. Egbemodi.
There are men, Brother Ayo, there are men who should marry half a wife, and they want side chicks, 4 side chicks in addition to one wife. They do not even have the energy, the money, the time.
What do you mean? Half
for
a wife?
half a wife.
How would you cope?
They should
Half
not
a
join the
wife?
fray and be talking. I'm just saying that they are not ready for marriage.
Half a
They are
wife.
already married. Yes. There are men who are not even prepared for one wife, a full wife, and the full responsibility of being the husband of one wife. Now they want 4. They should just not have side chick. That's my own. No side everybody from responsibility. See whether it's women that will complain first or the men.
Thank you very much. We will soon go over to Kabiyesi, but I'm seeing Dideolu's hands up. Can you quickly unmute him? This must be your first time on Boiling Point.
This is Dideolu Falobi. So this is not my first time. I've been on Boiling Point before. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, Apostle. And I want to especially acknowledge Kabiyesi. Kadipe lórí kí bàtà pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀. It's been a very interesting topic, and I'm happy that this is being discussed. I just want to react to a few issues. I had Baroyin's question, and I also had the responses. I think the concept of polygamy and the root causes are probably not being properly addressed, because those root causes still exist. And if we don't address them squarely, we will not we will not take away what is polygamy. I don't think it's about farming. I think that's a side effect. And I don't think also it's about appetite. I think it's more about the sociology or the physiology of men and women and their different needs sexually. From what I heard, because I didn't belong to that generation, a lot of first wives marry the second wife for their husbands. A lot of first wives, as soon as they get married, they get pregnant, their first pregnancy, they start looking for the second, and they see that second wife as a helper, and so on and so forth. And so on and so forth. Today's challenges are different. The challenge of education, challenge of bringing children up and so on. Yes, those are there. But those needs still remain. And the women are not much different cycles. So I don't think we should just wish it away. We should actually look at it as, this is a challenge. How do we reorientate people to change that challenge? The second part of it, which I had put in up as chart before, is the fact that, look at the society today, there are a lot of old spinsters, there are a lot of divorcees, there are a lot of widows. They're there. And they also have needs. So they need men in their life, either for companionship or for support, whether emotional or financial. These are the reality. Who is catering to those people? Who is helping them to stay on their feet? So some men take over that role. With single ladies out there, and that's not what I'm talking about now. I'm speaking more to the realities that surround us in terms of the society. And the fact that the society has actually neglected a lot of category of women. Nobody's catering to them. and those challenges are there. So I find it, I mean, and that's on that. For me, that's on that. I also mentioned the issue of parental guidance, which I really love the Apostle and Mrs. Egbebo. They both emphasized on. The reality is that, and I think we must emphasize it, we have to prepare our young ones now for relationships, for marriage, and even for sexual understanding, more deliberately than ever. They are global kids. As they sit in your sitting room, they are talking to somebody in Canada, they are watching what is happening in Russia, they are looking at somebody in Estonia with different value, different culture, different anything. So we cannot just think that we leave them to their whims and caprices. There must be deliberate. Mistakes have been made, but moving forward, we must find a way to deliberately reorientate, speak to these kids when they are small and begin to guide them. Otherwise, others will guide them for us. Once again, thank you very much for the good job you are doing.
Thank you, Dideolu. The one I call His Excellency. Okay. If there are no wrap-up thoughts, I'll be going back to KBC to close the session. But I can see Apostle is trying to. Apostle, your wrap-up thoughts?
Yes, I think Brother Dideolu gave a very good comment, and it's beautiful. And I believe KBC will wrap it up because of the time. But yes, the issue of marriage, there are lots to discuss on marriage in terms of counseling the young generation, counseling parents to groom their daughters for marriage and to prepare their sons also for marriage, to give a proper understanding. And we keep saying it, our African culture prepares us better for marriage than the Western culture we are copying. The social media has not helped much. Nollywood, Bollywood, Hollywood has not helped much. People want to copy those things they see, assuming it is real. And that has led to a lot of divorces. Because by the time you look at what you watch in Nollywood or Hollywood, and your husband is not behaving so, you want to say it's not romantic. All manners of things coming. Then the issue of forgiveness in marriage, being able to reconcile issues instead of deciding to go apart. Those things have to be more taught both in our schools, in our religious bodies. People should endure. They should learn patience one for another. They should show understanding and maturity. Children should not go into marriage. Let mature people go into marriage where they can endure and make compromises for one another to ensure the marriage is built and children are raised in the right atmosphere where they will learn good culture. When I mean culture of life and marriage. So I think a lot has to be done. And people have to be more counseled. And there are a lot to be said about marriage. But I believe our KBC, with its wealth of experience, and we wrap it up for us.
Thank you very much, Apostle. Funke Egbemode, your wrap-up thoughts? Today is one day technology failed some of us, but we will keep trying. Well, in the absence of Funke, are you back? Please say your final thoughts. Good. Bring up your
Yes,
final
I'm
thoughts.
back. Marriage is a journey. Marriage is a journey. It's not a destination that you arrive at on wedding day. Marriage is for the strong. It is not about romance. It's not just about flowers. Those ones are just things, they're just accessories. You must be strong. It's a marathon. If you are not built for the long journey, don't bother. If you can't forgive your partner, don't bother. I do not condone cheating in marriage, but if you leave your husband or you leave your wife because of cheating, I hope you are going to be celibate for the rest of your lives, because it's either you are going to be the one they'll be cheating with or you'll be cheating somebody. Marriage has too many ingredients, and love is not enough. Parents, let's do better.
Thank you very much. The last part of what you have said, you have spoken like a
Your
professional.
partner is an issue, don't bother with marriage.
Okay, thank you very much. Kabiyesi opened the session and he's going to close the session. He started by giving
Those
us
are
some
my
pointed.
closing thoughts. I hope I was able to talk.
Oh, sure. We'll see the rest in the papers. Thank you so much. Kabiyesi.
So thank you very much, Pastor Ojulu. It's been a really, really interesting session today. I must sincerely thank our participants, and especially our lead discussants, Apostle Achudime. Thank you very much. We really appreciate your very, very practical point of view. And also Ms. Funke Agbamade, thank you very much. It's a pity that, there were technical issues that made us miss a few of our good points. But you could tell very clearly that this was somebody who was coming from the realistic point of view, a lot of experience on this as well. You see, and I think it was Ms. Agbamade who talked about marriage being a marathon. You see, a lot of us don't see marriage for what it truly is. It is the basis of building any community. The smallest unit of a community is the family. And for those who believe in the story of Adam and Eve, I mean, the generations that came after them started from that single unit. But again, let me just speak a bit to some of the questions that Pastor Achudime and Ms. Agbemade tried to address. It's usually about money. And I think it was Pastor Ojulu who has a question that money makes love stronger. Interesting one. I love the response by Pastor Achudime, by the way. He addressed it very, very clearly, very, in detail as well. So for me, I say, if that is true, if anybody holds that view, then the corollary must also be true. That is, lack of money makes marriage weaker. And, that provides a viewpoint on what should be the place of money in any marriage or anything that's ephemeral. And that leads to the question of what is poverty? What is wealth? We see people who live on modest wages, families who live on, minimum wage, no more than 200, 300,000 naira, and they are happy. They build a solid family. And you see a lot of people who, earn above $1 million naira per month, even wealthier billionaires, but who don't even have a proper home. So how do you place that? You see, when you talk about wealth or rich, it's a thing of the mind. You have people who are multimillionaires or billionaires, but who are poor. And it's actually a thing of the mind. And those who are contented, like Pastor Achudime rightly said, they're the ones who are truly, who are truly rich. Whatever they have, they are contented and they can build a family around that and they're happy. So, and there's also the issue about side chick. Again, I like the way Mr. Agbemade addressed that question. So, but my point of view on that is this. As a man, for example, you have a daughter. Would you like to see your daughter as a side chick? How would you feel if someone comes and says, "Oh, I want to make your daughter my side chick"? Let's think about it. And Mr. Agbemade was talking about, she linked that to the issue of, men who want to have side chicks and finish. If you want to have additional women, bring them in. Question is, do you have the capacity? The capacity is not about money. It's about the wisdom. It's about, being able to manage that home in the way that our forebears used to do. And they had harmonious. And to do that, then goes again to the issue of how do you view marriage? What's your objectives of going to that marriage? And like Mr. Agbemade rightly said, marriage is not for everybody, to be honest with you. There are some men who don't have the capacity to even marry one wife. Not the fact that they don't have the means in terms of money, but they don't have what it takes to maintain a wife? And we need to really understand some of these things. It's not about money. It's not about whether you have a big house or you can spend on the woman or not. Again, posting video of intimate affairs on social media by individuals is simply a reflection of the society we live in today. How degenerate it has become. You know, I hear there's some countries where they are even trying to legalize, what do you call it? You can marry a goat or a dog or something, good registry. I mean, how low can we get as humans? But anyway, let's keep it that way. Again, thank you very much to all our participants today. We really appreciate your contributions to that as well. And to our partner media stations, particularly Wash FM, we want to thank you. And to all the other media stations who help us to broadcast this live as well. Pastor Arojolu, thank you very much for being true to this program. We really appreciate you. It was your birthday yesterday. A happy birthday to you again. Wish you many happy returns. And we'd like to welcome comments, feedback on the program in any way. Please give us feedback. We'll work on them because it only makes the program better. And it's only when we get this feedback sincerely. It's not just the praises, it's also the areas where we need to improve. And we promise you we'll continue to work on them to make the program much better for you and to make it livelier and more interesting for you. Again, thank you very much and have a great week ahead.
Thank you very much, KBC, and we cannot thank you enough. Thank you for all you do. I want to also appreciate my daddy, Apostle Lawrence Achidime. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for the candor with which you speak everywhere. Thank you for, building lives and destinies. I want to thank Sister Funke Bemodi. In fact, the moment I just got in touch with her, she just said, yes. It's as if her passion in life is about, relationship matters. And that's why they have said she's a professor of marital matters. Thank you so much. I see Professor Olushola Oyewole, all the way from Accra, Ghana. Thank you so much for the support. Every one of you who stayed glued for even more than 2 hours, we are doing this work together. We'll continue to do to find solutions to problems that are affecting the society. I do not know whether what will bring next time in June will be hard stuff or soft stuff, but whichever way it is, I think we can return to politics, we can return to economy, but only God knows what it is. I thank you so much. I thank Wash FM and Root FM and all the radio stations that have been backing us up. This is the size of our package. Thank you. Let me go over. I want to thank the technical team too, who keep improving and doing our best. We hope that this is the 43rd edition. We hope that when we get to 50th edition, some 6 or 7 months' time, we can arrange a physical edition where we can see each of us and shake hands again. Well, Anthony, I want to thank you. Let me hand over to you. You know how to say it better than I do.
After the conversation, and just as he said, we decided to take a little soft route this time around, but nonetheless, on the next edition, we'll also ensure that I have a better and seamless communication as far as the program is concerned. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, keep it here as always. It's Nigeria's authentic radio station, 94.9 FM. Help you with our conversations. It's at Watch 949 on all social media platforms and Watch 949. Well, do so videos for listening. You can listen live. Our website is www.watch949fm.com. Alternatively, you listen via the radio garden, search for Watch 949, and you'll find us there. So from us, here is good night.
Bóyá ṣe ló yẹ kẹ́ máa lo kìíní.